Okay. Come on, come on. Can I hear you, Nick?
Hey.
Hey. Nick, get up in your mic. You're
I'm
gonna
in the
giggle.
mic.
I know.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, Nails. Let your inner breathe. Everybody at home, give Nikki some hearts. Let her breathe. She is our host today. Just go ahead, y'all. So, we are ready. We are ready, Nick. I promise.
right.
I'm not saying. I'm going to be the interviewee. You believe it?
I need you to,
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm
All
going to
right.
see.
So, welcome, everyone. We are here today
Yay.
with Coach Q.
Coach Q. Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So, just for introduction. So, Quette Brown-Fletcher, better known as Coach Q, is a native of Baltimore, Maryland,
Woo woo.
and relocated to Newport News, Virginia in 1985. She is the widow of Derek, has 3 sons and 5 grandchildren. In 2018, Coach Q launched a nonprofit organization called Breathe Easy that promotes the importance of becoming an organ donor. She has been a licensed fitness instructor for 8 years and owns Breathe Easy Fitness Studio, where she teaches 9 group fitness classes and conducts personal training. In June of this year, Coach Q launched a podcast, Chat It Up with Coach Q.
Yay, that's why we here. And she is on the ones and the twos. Facebook, y'all didn't hear it, but YouTube, y'all heard the claps. Woo, woo.
Okay, so Chat It Up with Coach Q is about the everyday ish that we as adults go through.
Mm-hmm.
She has a lot of formal education to include 3 master's degrees.
Woo, woo. Boom,
And
boom, 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 boom.
is in pursuit of her PhD.
Yes.
She is an ordained minister, an orator, and a low-key comedian.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Kiki, ha, ha.
Hands down, her passion is developing people physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Now, let's have this conversation with award-winning Achi Magazine Women of the Year 2023, Health and Wellness Coach of 2022, and Trailblazer of 2021, and Mentor of the Year of 2019.
Period.
Hello. Let's get it. Hey.
I'm so proud of she. Look at her. Bama is in the house.
Hey.
Hey, girl. Look, she focused too. I wish y'all could see her. I wish y'all could see her. It done locked up on her, so I'm great giving her the passcode. It's all good. That's why it's Chatted Up with Coach Q. I'm great to send it to you, Chic, right now.
We gonna work it out.
We gonna work it out, Chic. I'm gonna give it to you right now.
We didn't turn the fan on today.
We do gotta turn it back on. Go turn it on then, Nick. Because it's hot in here. I'm sending it to you, Chic, because I don't need everybody all on my passcode and stuff like that. All right. It wasn't on rotate or something. You got it, Chic. There it is. I think that's some nervousness.
It is, but that's okay. We're going to work it out.
We're going to work it out. I'm ready too.
We're going to work it out.
I am ready. Let me turn down my volume too to see. Okay. All right, Nick, what you got? Because I'm kind of nervous about some stuff. If you're going to be asking me questions, I'm kind of nervous.
All right, well, remember that you can send questions, and we'll be able to answer those questions and add them to the list that we have.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Let's start off with some little basic questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite color?
My favorite color, is purple. I love purple, hence my purple Coach Q cup. But yeah, I love purple.
Okay. Wow.
Purple is my favorite color. First of all, purple represents harmony. It represents togetherness. It represents stability, and so that's what I love about it. Yeah, royalty, of course. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I love purple.
Beach or pool?
You know, I can't swim. The pool is cold.
Okay.
So I would say beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
A tropical or destination?
I want a destination vacation because tropical, we always go on the cruises and be at the Bahamas and all that other stuff. So I really would like you fly somewhere, the stuff that you be seeing on TikTok. I want to just like end up somewhere. And so really like a destination where like he surprises me or something like that. Get it? Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. Take me. Where you can be like naked and nobody can see you.
Oh.
Y'all ain't want to be naked nowhere. Like on vacation naked. I'm tired. Like, I don't want to just keep getting dressed. I want to be somewhere naked where we can walk out and just eat.
Just that one villa.
Just the one villa, right? Except the cleanup people. I don't care about them.
We don't need to clean up people to see you.
I ain't the only one. Like, y'all they too afraid. Anyway.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah. I want one of those vacations, so I really do. And there's still time.
It is.
There's
absolutely.
still time. I know we're going to talk about it, but Derek and I used to talk about that all the time. And he used to say, babe, I ain't going nowhere just being naked. Oh. I said, well, I'll just be naked. He was like, well, you not going nowhere just naked. So anyway,
the freedom of it all, though.
So I'm sure he gonna be looking down like she did it. She naked somewhere. I'm naked somewhere. There she go.
There go my baby.
There go my baby. Yeah.
All right. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
An elephant.
Okay.
Elephant is my favorite animal as well. Elephants also represent harmony in family. So if you ever really look at an elephant like tribe, they travel in packs.
Absolutely.
There's no elephant left behind. And they always connect. They always go back. They always go back and get them. And so that's what I really love. And they're huge, meaning when they show up at the scene, you know that they're there, but they're gentle.
Absolutely.
And I have a very big personality, and sometimes that can be overwhelming for those who don't know me. But when they get to know me, they're like, oh my gosh, you're gentle. I'm a bowl of tears and just full of love. And I really have that same passion. Like, it's not about me, it's about how many people I can bring along with me. And so I love elephants for that reason.
Oh, I can attest to that.
Yeah. Yeah, say
when
why.
I first met you, I was like, oh, wow.
So what was it? Oh, wow. The gentle spirit or like, bam, there she go.
There she go. And then when I actually got to talk to you and got to know you, I was like, man.
Yeah.
Like.
And we really connected like from day one.
Did.
But you have that personality type as well. And immediately I was like, there was just something I was drawn to you. And I was like, that's my sis. Like, and that's been it. Yeah. So it's been great.
That's good. What advice would you give young Quette?
Take more risk because I've lived most of my life very careful, very afraid to make a mistake because, my mom had 4 children and then she raised my 2 younger cousins as well. So it was 6 of us. And people, and I'm not talking about external people, I'm talking about like family because she was a young mother, had 4 kids at 23. They were always very critical. And so I was always careful because I never wanted to be flawed. I always wanted to be seen as perfect. And that's my personality type from an Enneagram perspective as well, perfectionist. And it was because I represented my mom. I wanted people to know that that mother who had her first child at 16 or second child right before she turned 18 was able to produce greatness. And so I always worked so hard and I put extra stress on myself. I probably talked myself out of probably a lot of good friendships and relationships because my focus was always being, focused on being perfect. And so to answer your question, I would just tell myself, just like relax and be human. But I never gave myself a chance to do that. And it wasn't until honestly, Cage had his bilateral lung transplant. I said that was the first time I too was able to breathe easy. So it was May 10th of 2018. And, what was that, 6 years ago? And so all of my life, 40-something years, I was always tense. And, even my kids, everything had to be put in place. Everything has to be organized. Everything has to be this. Because, again, when they looked at Denise's kids, I wanted them to know, like, greatness was birthed out of that woman.
And it was.
And it is. It was.
It was. Absolutely. Yes. Get it, Mama D.
I love it. Shout out to my mother who is cancer-free. She rung her bell. Cancer-free, Mom. That is it. That is it. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay. How long has it been since your husband passed?
It was February 17th of last year. So almost 2 years. And what's crazy is it seems like yesterday. I was just conversing with a newfound friend. He lost his wife as well. I won't, he'll remain nameless, but his wife was killed in a car accident. And they were married, I think, like 30-something years, right? And what's important, and again, this, we may talk about this later as well. I just have a passion for people who've lost their spouse or their, and I know people lost parents and children. So it's been, again, almost 2 years. But the reason I say it seems like yesterday is, most of us, first thing we do when we get up, well, not everybody, but normally I get up, I hit my chat, and then I scroll Facebook. And everybody was getting married or everybody was booed up. And whether it's social media or not, I love, Nikki. I love being a wife.
Right.
I love coming home and him, just telling me, what did I need? I love the fact that if the batteries were chirping in a smoke detector, he'd change it. Didn't have,
had to wait for
I had to wait for it. Or, like these during gnats. I wouldn't have to be the one figuring it out and work it out. He was always just low key. Like nothing really got him aroused unless you mess with his wife or, or his family. And so I just missed. And then he was a manly man. Like he wasn't intimidated by my education. He wasn't intimidated by my big presence. And, he was a gentle giant. And so Sundays are hard because that's the day we worshiped. And Fridays are hard because that's the day he transitioned. So, oddly enough, I just posted for the podcast. Today, October 6th, would have made 4 years since we purchased our house.
Oh, wow.
Around the corner. And I put on the note, he came picking me up in his suit. He liked to dress. That dude is going to dress and show up. And I had on my workout stuff, and he looked like... And I said, what? And he just chuckled. He didn't go into trying to chastise me.
Right.
He didn't go in trying to correct me. He just chuckled because he's like, she's doing what she does, which is to work out. But he was still comfortable in who he is. He came in there with his suit and we posed. Shout out to Pamela Brown, real estate queen. But he posed, we took our picture, and it's just funny how things happen. Out of all days doing this reverse interview, that memory came up with him. So yeah, I miss him so much.
I always said that, like, I loved your love. You could tell just looking at you, just the way he looked at you, just the way you looked at him, you interacted. Yeah. It was love. Yeah. And that was like, man, I want to be like that when I grow up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm chasing.
Like, oh my gosh, it was
Nick,
amazing.
Like Nick, that's what I'm chasing now. Is not a Derek.
Right.
Because Derek was for his time. I understand that he was a springboard. And I remember, hopefully she'll mind me saying, but Sister TT, I call her Sis TT, she's married now. I think been married 5 or 6 years. But she and I were single during the same time. And I got married. I know she was believing God for her husband. But it was times that we were single. We was like, will they ever come? And will they be what we want? And this man shows up. And I'm like... God, I am so glad so many other men rejected me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm so glad that something else went wrong so that I would be available for him. And so, it's great. And we weren't perfect. Let's be clear. But we, like you said, our love is what sustained us. He didn't like fuss. And Jordan used to always say that if I was like, so what you got to say? He was like, look, I ain't got the energy. Like, because he know, like, I was going, he wouldn't even do it. And so that has taught me so much. And I don't like arguments. I really, really don't. In relationships, that's my first red flag. Like, if I'm fencing back and forth with you, that's a red flag. And I try to navigate it. But that was the difference with him. He just didn't. He used to say, I'm too old. Babe, I'm too old. I done learned. And so, that was good. That was good.
How did you meet?
So, I was like this hurt person. I met him at a gym. We met at the gym. Are you surprised? And I used to go and work out early in the morning, same thing like I do now. And I would leave before normally the crowd comes in because I had to be to work at 8. And, you know, all of us, if we're single, we watching that one. And he just stood so tall and he walked. Y'all know his walk. Everybody know his walk. He got that walk, right? And he would walk in. And then I was like, who's this guy? Because he had this cough. And that was before his transplant. Mm-hmm. And I used to say, that dude needs some Mucinex. Because it used to sound... I know. And so I'm in there, I'm working out, and I used to stay, you know, I would peek at him, but I would stay focused. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't really start paying attention to him until I saw this other girl, really. I was like, okay, I gotta let him know I'm here. And so one day he heard me invite this older gentleman. I was like, I preach. You know, you should come out to see me. And a little bit later, he said, you preaching it? You a preacher.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, you should come out, you know, and see me as well. And he came out to hear me preach. And what's funny is when he heard me preach, he said he thought to himself, she thick, but I don't want it. He was like, because I was loud. I was preaching hell and damnation. He was like, nah, no thank you. I don't want no loud woman. And then he laughed. He was like, I didn't get a loud woman. I got the loudest woman. And he would always tell that. But what sealed it is I had did a voluntary foreclosure on my home, and I moved somewhere else, and I needed a dryer plug fixed. Mm-hmm. And so I picked up a card for an electrician, called him, came to my house, and it was him.
What?
It was him. And when I opened the door, I was like, how you know where I live at? Like, he was like, I'm Derek. You know, you the one who called me. I was like, good great. And honestly, I was like, I think I'm going to give him some. No, I'm joking. No, seriously, though, I was just like, okay, because I had a friend, one name is Arkita. I don't know if she watches. And Donna. Mm-hmm. And they used to always joke me, we all worked for Sprint. And they was like, Quetta, to find your husband, you gonna have to hit him. Because I was so, I do have kind of high standards, right? And people used to always flirt. And I was like, no. They said, you gonna have to hit your husband in order to, you know, get him. And so when I came and was like, he showed up at my house. Right. And this is the same guy. You know, so basically I met him at the gym, and then it was sealed when he came to the house. And listen, that dude charged me $75. Oh. And we laughed about that too. He was like, this was business. We wasn't like, we wasn't booze yet. I just met you. And so he charged me for that plug. Hey, y'all, you know how you kind of hold a check? He must have took the check directly to my bank that next day. Because I was like, dead, and cashed it. And we always joked about that too. I was like, you cash that check quick. And he was like, cuz normally I get checks from women. They want me to hold it until next week. He didn't want no text with me saying, hold that check until next week. So anyway.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to marry again?
You know, I absolutely do. This is the answer to, you know, kind of my question before. I love love. As you mentioned, I'm a minister. I'm a believer. Like we had, even though my mom was a, you know, not quote unquote single mom, she wasn't married. Shout out to my bonus dad. But in essence, because, you know, he had an addiction and, you know, we lived in a home where there was, you know, like domestic violence. It was, you know, dysfunctional family in a sense. But my mom always knew how to be the woman she needed to be for her significant other and for her children. And so I love the idea of family. And again, it went back to my mom didn't just raise women who were just independent and able to take care of themselves, but she raised women who was able to be a helpmeet to a man. You know, she never raised us like, you don't need anybody.
Right.
You know, she raised us in the sense like you're independent, but you can be a helpmeet. And so being married to Derek, it was great. So I love. And, you know, sometimes I get frustrated because it's like, you know, it took so long, like, to get married. And then I got married and I only had, you know, 9.5, 10 years. But in that time, you would have thought we were married forever because we did everything.
Yes.
And I just, you know, when you think about it, it is the closest relationship to God. And, you know, whether people believe it or not, it is God and your spouse.
Right.
And then your children. And, you know, family and church. Like, we forget it. We get out of order. And Derek had no apologies. Like, when we start dating and he knew I was the one and we got married, it was me. Everything else was off the table. Sometimes he had to remind me that, you know, especially once I had Joy, and he was like, who's that boy? I'm your husband. I'm like, okay. So I do want to get married again. And sometimes that can serve as a smoke screen because when people then start paying you attention or, they find you attractive and because they halfway cute and they, got a good credit score, you were like, okay, is that him? And so in my anxiousness of wanting to be married, I know it's also important to make sure like Derek is the right one. And it doesn't mean me and Derek was like, we ain't doing this.
Right.
Initially, like I was like, I ain't get married. He looked like we get married. And I'm so glad he did. So yeah, I do want to be married again. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I do.
That's good.
Yep.
How is Jordan?
Jordan is good. He served on a podcast and, even when they talked about his dad, he very often said he tries not to think about it.
Right.
And so more often now I tell him, hey, what would dad do? What would dad do? Now he runs track.
Okay.
And so he was like, I'm running like dad. I'm running like dad.
Right.
So he's excited about that. So shout out to Jordan.
Yes.
He won first place in his first track meet.
Y'all
might not have seen it.
Hey.
Y'all might not have seen it on my live. Let me put my $40 pretend glasses back on.
What?
Shout out to my cousin. My cousin Sarah. I would not have bought these if I knew they were $40. I thought they were like the beauty supply store, $10, $15.
You know what?
But I thank you, cousin. They cute though. They did do it.
Yes.
But cousin, they nice though. I may put real frames in them. But so he's doing pretty good. He's doing well in school. Sixth grade was making me a little nervous initially because it's a huge school. He don't want me walking to the bus stop. So he's learned to be very, independent. I still have to remind him like an everyday kid. But I'm very proud of Jordan. He's doing very, very well. All A's. I think he has a C. For some reason, science has been different. And when I started looking at them tests, I was like, these questions don't match. I couldn't graduate from school.
At all.
I'm telling y'all, I could not graduate from school. I would be like, I don't even know if I could get a GED. So I don't know. But again, he's doing great. I think he's still navigating or suppressing his feelings about his dad. And, my middle son, Unique, since he's around a little bit more, he really helps and be around, Jordan. But today, we went and played basketball. And he's used to playing basketball with dad. And, I was sitting in the car on social media. I ain't gonna lie. I was. And he was over there bouncing. Every few minutes, he came over and checked on me. But Jordan is, he's cool. He really, really is. I'm still seeing, do you like girls? And he was like, no. I was like, do you like boys? He was like, no, I don't like boys. I mean, I'm asking the question, talk to mommy. Because now, there's everything. And he's just he's into his sports and stuff. And so it sounds good. Again, he's just 11. I just be trying to, be nosy. Even though his teacher told me there's a little girl in class. She says, Jordan is great. He's quiet. He tries to rally the class. She said, but I had to move him. I'm like, oh, he's quiet. She said, it wasn't him. It was a little girl. She likes his hair. Oh, and I was like, Jordan, he was like, yeah, but almost like, what's new? Like, he was almost like.
Who don't like my hair? Who
don't? So, right, it is cute. So he's coming along. He is. He's coming along. And I want to go back to your last question because I wrote something down that I wanted to answer when you said you want to be married again.
Okay.
What I'm learning is I'm not going to take my crown off to put on knee pads to beg any guy to kind of want me or adjust my passion of greatness so they can feel better. I do understand when you're married, there's certain things that you have to consider, right? And even with Derek, I was never disrespectful. I had the same fitness studio, my same kind of style, but he was so confident in the man that he was. He ain't had social media either, but that he didn't question it, right? But what I understood is there was times, even before Derek and even, exploring dating after Derek that I was like, okay, let me kind of dim my crown just to empower or, because I want this man to know he's the man. And we don't have to do that. No, we don't. Just the same, I don't have to have my crown so tall that I can't get through the door.
Right.
But sometimes my unapologetic personality type can be such that people think that I don't walk in humility in a relationship. And I love being the help me. Just because I'm grinding, just because I'm financially stable, doesn't mean that I have a problem being the help me. But that is definitely not at the cost of having to give up my queendom.
Understood.
In the sense. So,
and I think with men, it's their pride. You know, they can't see past.
Yeah.
So it's they take that and they miss out.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and sometimes, what I learn is And my oldest son father, Chris, taught me this. He said, nobody ever showed me how to be a father. Nobody ever showed me, like, you know, I became a father. Like, I didn't, like, there's really, they got books, but do you really know?
Right.
Or how to be a husband. You hear stuff, but everybody's story is different. And so I really think sometime with most of us, we bring what our baggage with us. We're rolling it in.
Absolutely.
And if we haven't taken care of those giants, or Dr. Moss referenced them as trees in our lives, those seeds begin to drop in our new relationships.
Absolutely.
And not intentionally, but you only know what you know.
Right,
it's just, right, you know. And so Derek, fortunately, has taught me. He taught me what love is and how, you know, if we got in, you know, when we got in one of our first discussions, disagreements, I can count on my hand. I was like, so you leaving? He's like, no, I ain't leaving. And you ain't either. I'm going to go sit out back. You can go upstairs. Meaning, I was used to men getting mad and they going on about their business.
Right.
But that's not how you navigate disagreements, you know? And so, yeah, I really think, you know, we bring those trees into relationships, hence, which is pride, right? And the Bible says pride goes before a fall and a haughty spirit before destruction. Like you know, is a Leviathan spirit. Job talks about it. It is one of the most untamable beasts. And people sometimes disagree with me on this, Nick, and we can move forward. Pride is the only sin that was able to exist in heaven. When I say that, Satan, why did he get kicked out? Why did Lucifer get kicked out of heaven? He was prideful. He began to, and pride is sin. That is the only, I know that heaven was all perfection. It didn't stay there. And Bible scholars and, you know, prophetess and, okay.
Chat it up with Coach.
It's chatted up. This is just my view.
Right.
Have your opinion. But was he not prideful? He wanted the glory on him and taken off our God.
Right.
And that's what pride is.
Right.
We want it on us. And we want it taken off of God. And so pride is a Leviathan spirit. The Bible says, who can tame it? It is a beast with gnawing teeth because it's untamable. You can't see because, and all of us are prideful.
Absolutely.
All of us, you know, we're proud people, but we have to recognize it as a tree again that has roots. And just because you cut it down, if you don't address the rooting, and that's what happens in relationship. And so even now I'm trying to address the roots that has been prohibitive in my relationships I've tried since Derek.
Right.
Because it's some of mine is pride too, because I know what I'm used to.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
So with that being said, and with trying to get to the root of things, how do you feel about therapy? Like even with Jordan and what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Jordan was actually in therapy, and it's funny. We know those of us who have therapists, which is most of us now, right? We can manipulate the conversations.
Absolutely.
And the therapist that Jordan was seeing at the time, I mean, I won't name her, but she probably had so many kids and so much. She was like, he's good. Like, at first I thought it was this. And so she didn't know how to tap into it because Jordan, honestly, even as a child, was so good at masking it. And so for my therapist, he said he need therapy after meeting with me. So I shout out to my therapist at Riverside Brentwood. Like, he is a great, and he's an old white man. You know, I tried a black woman. I've tried a black man. This old white man, I needed him because, you know, first of all, like, what's in it for him? You know, he ain't got to compete. But he be telling me how it is. He was like, you have issues. I even shared one time to the point where he was like, I think I want you to get a psychological evaluation. He was like, I don't know if it's not bipolar. It's not, but he always says, you're really good at like pretending, or you're really good at, you know, doing this, and he was like, I don't understand it. And I keep thinking you're going to break, but you're not. There has to be something wrong for you to seem this okay. Like for your life to be, you know, because he said everything is together and you come in here. He was like, but you're not okay. And I was just like, I'm cool. I'm good. And then he'll say, so that's why you got 14 tats. So now that's why you got 17 tats. So that's why you got, you know, things of that nature. And one time he told me, he was like, you're not God. And I was like, but I'm very close. He looked at me. But I say that again, therapy is great. It's needed. It gives me an opportunity to really express some things and address some things. And it's through therapy I made decisions about my career. I made decisions about relationship. Like my last therapy session, he was like, here's what you need and don't need. And sometimes that's hard to do.
Absolutely.
But it was necessary for my healing. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, how are you doing?
You know, Nick, I'm going to say this. Like, this is really vulnerable. I don't, and again, I know because every time I make a comment about stuff, they bash me on social media. But that's what happened when you're almost at 1 million followers.
Absolutely.
And so I want to create a space where people can give their opinions. I hate being single. So you asked me that I want to be married. I do. Some people enjoy their singlehood. Shout out to you. Hey, shout out. I don't like being single. Mm-hmm. I don't, you know, and again, I'm not trying to use scripture for everything, but the Bible says 2 is better than 1. 1 puts 1,000 to flight, but 2 put 10,000. And so there's power in a pair. And the reason I don't like being single, because I know that the power that 2 bring is greater than the power that I can bring individually. And the other reason I don't like being single is because Jordan deserves for his next 8, 12, 15, 20 years, the same thing he had earlier. All he knew is 2 parents.
Right.
He knew what it meant to have a man in a home, to see how a man is to take care of his wife and nurture, and how a woman is to subject herself to that leadership, but in partnership. And so that's the thing about me more than anything. Like I like putting my leg on Derek. I like knowing that I didn't have to do it all by myself. And so that's one thing. I hate being single. And then, to be very honest, I'm really toiling between, I love my business. I love Breathe Easy. I love what I do passionately. It's difficult in this day and age running an individual fitness studio when you have the Planet Fitness and the One Life and all this other stuff, especially after COVID.
Right.
So I do have Kiki who dances with me on Saturday, but it's almost like I'm a one-man team outside of, you know, Sherelle and them help me. And so the money I truly earn that people fail to realize, and y'all know I'm going to tell it, it goes to going back into Breathe Easy. And don't get me wrong, I didn't get into it because I was trying to get rich. I was trying to change lives. But it's exhausting. However, it gives me so much joy. I'm like too afraid to leave. So I'm like, do I leave when it's high? And then I look at the lives we're changing. It's beyond fitness. We're sisters. We're family.
Absolutely. Right.
And those who don't come or can't come, they miss it. There's some type of camaraderie. But however, I believe God. I'm like, okay, God, what you want to do? And so I know that my lease ends July of 2025.
Okay.
And I keep thinking, you know, they always get you 3 months before. Am I going to renew a lease? You know, $3,000 a lot a month.
It's a lot.
2 light bills, 2 water bills, 2 sanitation bills. And so I'm just believing God for the next step. Would I ever give up fitness and training? No, I'll take it to chair. We'll be all old ladies together, Chic. Yeah. We'll be all old together in our chairs working out, because we do know that, look at Dr. Moss, look at some of these people in their late age, that working out, we need it. And so I may even try to look for a smaller building because I have a big space. So yeah, so that's it. And then the only other thing is really trying to figure out like how else God wants me to impact. Like the podcast I love, but I'm like, and I know it's God, like what else can I do to really get out the message to everyday people, just to have conversations about things. But my passion again is really helping widows and helping people who've lost loved ones. So really trying to understand what this platform is. So all that noise inside my head it keeps me up and busy, you know? And so, but all in all, no lie, and this isn't a cliche, I'm doing a lot better than I have been. I'm doing a lot better than I have been. I'm not depressed. I'm not down. I can be overwhelmed at times that I put on myself, but I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
Won't he do it?
Say lie. Yes, won't he do it? Won't he do it? And you know, the reason I say that, Nick, is, you know, I'm evaluating things. I can't afford another bond with someone who isn't right for my soul, because I give so much of me that I just can't afford to give all of who I am. I give everything. And my friend Renee always says, people ain't know why you always got to take on a case. Like I said, like, but let me help them through, or let me, you know.
But that's just who you are.
But that's just who I am naturally.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, that's what I do. And you know, like Derek, I helped him to a place, but he also helped me. And this is no shout out to anybody I've dated. I'm just saying I have to be very meticulous and very particular about who I am giving my time to. Absolutely. And so now even, you know, if I'm conversing with guys who are interested, like, baby, they get like, it ain't even 24 hours. I'm like, nope. Meaning I have to be able to take you, you know, the representation has to be more than I love you and you my babe, you my boo, and calling me all the time. No, it's going to go beyond that. It's going to be going to like really speaking to my soul and spirit in a different way. And again, no bad shots to anybody else, but it's just me understanding kind of where I am. And I just can't afford to continue to drop deposits of who I am in other people. I can't. Yeah.
Because who's pouring back into you? Who's
who's right
into you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Get it. So talking about that, are you a fan of dating apps?
Listen, you would have talked to me 3 months ago. I would be like, yes, I'm a fan of dating apps because I met my boo on a dating app. Like, and I was up there just a week or so, and I met this amazing guy. And shout out to Coach D. He's an amazing guy.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, yeah, the dating app, like, showed me there was some knuckleheads. But in meeting him, there was an instant connection. Like, there were so many things he had in common, and it was just good. And I like a chase. I like to know that I'm wanted. And there was no doubt. I mean, he called. He showed up.
Yes.
He was just,
like,
he brought flowers. I mean, he showed up. Oh, I know. He was on the scene. So it was like this love story. And I was like, God, you did it again. And so, yes. And again, I'm not against dating apps. I'm just saying there's just a lot of noise out there. And I only did Facebook. I don't know if y'all know of any other. I didn't do anything else. And there's just, I don't know, the last few, again, a couple of hours of that, it was like block. And yeah, so I guess 6 in one hand, half a dozen in another. But, you know, again, meeting Coach D, it was good. The reality of it, long distance relationships takes a different type of grind. And though early on in our relationship, you know, because he was super hype, y'all seen the interviews, he was moving here, he was letting it go. But when you realize, you know, he had other priorities that he had to do. So it wasn't just moving here with Coach Q.
Right.
And I like to snug. I like to, like, I need you here. And so even though we were always talking and he was down here almost every other weekend or whatever, it was hard.
It's very hard.
And then we had to come to the place where, like, he really wasn't moving.
Right.
And I really wasn't moving.
Right.
And so it got to the point where, like, are we going to continue to do this? And what it did was, because we knew we weren't and we were still trying, it started to create friction. You know, every other day it was something. Like, you blinked and it was something. You know, you scratched wrong and it was something. It was like, how do we have this amazing relationship for 90 days, talk all the time? You know, there was never anything, you know, to all of a sudden, like, bumping heads.
Right.
But I think what became clear is spiritual counseling as well. You know, I went to my leaders. I didn't hold out. I went to my family. You know, I introduced them to my family, my leaders. And while everybody, like I introduced him to y'all, y'all had the 411. Like, he had a lot of vetting to go through, first of all. And with all of that, it was good. And so what I recognize is sometimes things can fit. But are they the right fit?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so the things were good, but was it right? And so it is funny during our relationship, we used to hear that song, we are good, but we're still good. You know, the good song, like right time, wrong place, wrong whatever. So maybe at a different season in our lives, it may have been different. And now when you step back from the smoke screen, you realize that maybe there were some things that he and I both missed or may not have paid enough attention to have let that been a deciding factor. And again, you know, there was no shame talking. There was no downing. There was no rudeness and all of that other stuff. But there are probably some trees that each of us had that hadn't been uprooted. That as we had the decision of long distance relationship and neither one of us moving, that these other things became visual to us as well. And so again, we're still cool. You know, we chat, you know, every now and again. He still gets on me about walking and not paying attention to being on social media. You know, he's very thoughtful,
right.
You know, because of his background in the field. But I wish him well, and he equally wishes me well. You know, so you just gotta know.
Right.
You just, you know,
Absolutely.
you just gotta know. Yeah.
So, are you single or dating?
Child. I am single. And I'm gonna put my lip gloss on because I never know when you're gonna be watching this video.
I know that's right.
All the single guys. All the single guys. All the single guys. No. Listen, I am single. I am not dating. So you heard me say, like, I went back to the dating app. Girl, I think it was 6 days. It was like 6 days. I ain't gonna lie. But in those days, I was just like, did I put in something wrong? Was a profile? And everybody I met, though, were professionals. Like NASA, Homeland Security, federal government. So y'all, I don't care what jobs they have. They can still be bleep, 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 bleep. Because sometimes they don't know how to talk to you. They ready to, you know, they want to lay up. They, you know, I ain't into that. I'm looking for something different. And it doesn't mean that that's not out there because I am something different and I was out there. But I'm very open. And I learned a lot dating, you know, before. And so I'm just like, I ain't even wasting their time early. And I look at them like, if you... I'm just not doing it. So again, I am single, but this time I'm not thirsty. And I think before, you know, and people can front, I ain't thirsty, y'all. Women, don't get deep on me, because we want some. All of us, people, we want to be loved. We want a relationship, and with the people out there who be like, nah, because I'm good. Go ahead, that's your story. And when I said I'm not thirsty, it doesn't mean I don't want something to drink.
Right.
I'm just not thirsty where, you know, if I don't get it, like, I'm like, like, you know, so I'm just like, it's just going to be good. Now, would I have had hope that Dante and I could have worked and would that have been somebody? Absolutely. It just didn't. And we have to accept that. A different season. And sometimes you'll try to hold on to, okay, let's just be friends and let's do this because you're still kind of attached. And I told him the other day, I was like, I miss you, but I don't want you. And that wasn't even shade, but I do miss our interactions, our time.
Right.
He was just thoughtful.
Right.
He was thoughtful. I told him when he wanted to be, but he was thoughtful. But, you know, I didn't miss, you know, what it started to become because we were trying so hard to kind of fit a square peg into a rectangle, into a circle. And even though parts of it fit, not the whole. And he's going to be right for somebody. Absolutely. He's going to be great for somebody in such as I. So, yeah, I am single.
Okay.
I am single.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, how many children do you have?
So, I have 3 sons. I call one Bishop, Jackie. He's 31, and he has 2 kids. And then Unique is 27, and he went from no kids to 3 kids. They are not twins. You know? They are not triplets.
It's all good.
However, he gave me my first Grand Chocolate. So I have Grand Chocolate, my Grand Cinnamon. So Grand Chocolate, let me go. Adore, well, my son's Unique. I mean, Jackie, that's how I do. Unique. Jordan be like, I'm Jordan. So Bishop is 31. His name is Jackie. Unique, I call him Seer because he just sit back and watch. He's 27. And then, of course, I have Jordan, who's 11. So 3 sons. And I have 5 grandchildren. Mind you, Jordan ain't gave me none yet. So I have a grandson that's 9, a grandson that'll be 7, a granddaughter that's 3, a granddaughter that's 1, and then I have my new smook grandson. His name is Kylo. He'll be 3 weeks tomorrow.
3
weeks old. He'll be 3 weeks old. So I told Unique, slow down. That's it. That's just it. That's just it. Especially because I ain't that everyday grandma. Like, I'm not like you, Pam. Pam be like,
had them kids.
Pam can listen. She got them and they drop them off. My grandson said, Grandma, can we come to you? I was like, for the next 3 weekends, I'm booked. However, I'm coming to get you a door. Grandma is coming. He like, well, send me some money for Robux. Like, Grandma gonna get you. Grandma gonna get you what you need. I'm always there. I'm there financially, for my family, all of that. But I be like, Grandma, I got to make $1. Like, I got a whole studio. I got a whole house. And I do be busy. Like yesterday, I changed 6 times, Nikki, in 12 hours.
Wait a minute.
6 times. I had
See, that's what I mean. You go to that therapist and he be like...
That's what he said. And then I'd be like, hey.
Right.
And he'd be like, I don't know if you need to be medicated. Like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm fine. And so he'd be like, when you explode, it's going to be like, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. But again, 6 times yesterday. And that was all before time. And was in bed by 6:30.
6:30?
In bed, 6:30 p.m. and did 6 events. So... I do stay busy. And so, like he tells me, he's like, say no. And he even said, say no starting with my children. So no, and no. But he says, say no. But again, that helper in you wants to help everybody. And, we got to live with our, the tag that we put up there. Meaning people invite me and expect a lot out of me because that's the tag that's on my shirt. Like, I'm the one who you need me, call me, and then all of a sudden I'm going to say, nope. So, I have to kind of, if I want things to change, I have to change the fabric of my tag so that way people can kind of respect boundaries. But when God has created you to be an impactor, that's what an impactor does. It impacts. And so his grace is sufficient and he gives me the grace that I need in order to do what I need to do. And now, consciously, I do have time like to rest. Like I said, I did basketball with Jordan today. I'm very deliberate about making time. What I need to do is just probably with my grandchildren, like get them a little bit more. I probably could work on that piece.
So what do you do to relax? Like, what is your shutdown? How do you step away from all of the things that you do and just be cute?
You know what? I love walking with people. I love when we walk as groups. However, dash, more than anything, I enjoy walking by myself. That doesn't mean Renee don't walk with me, Sherelle, Nikki, y'all. That don't mean y'all off. But that gives me time and most of the time my music is off, but that gives me time. And so May of 2025 will be 5 years that I've walked every day. And some people's like, what got you into walking? What got you into walking every day? I didn't say I'm going to walk every day for the rest of my life. It just ended up happening.
Right.
And so that's kind of my downtime as I walk. And some people say, as much as you walk, you should be smaller. Well, I just had some Royal Farm. So.
And what she did.
You can smell it too. I had some Royal Farm. But here's what I do. Whatever. She did. She was over here like this. But I don't eat 3 wings and all those 5 fries in one setting. I don't never eat the roll. I break it up. No, but seriously, if I probably ate better. And it's not that I eat the wrong stuff all the time or anything like that. That's because that's not it. But I need to eat more, leaner, and protein. But again, walking is my relaxed time. And I don't watch TV. And so, my son always says, like, your TV is right. Like, you don't even watch it. And there's a huge TV in there. But I don't watch it. I'm just, sometimes I'm just cooling. So walking, I would say, is more than anything my relaxed time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Even though it's moving.
But that's
even
the
though
time
I'm
that
moving.
you get to focus.
I get to focus. I get to
think about,
Yep.
go over all of the things that are.
All the things. All the things, Nikki.
So,
yep.
yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so you often reference your educational background. What is that?
As you said in my bio, I wanted to be a lawyer, right? I went to William & Mary Law School, got accepted. Well, not went. I applied to William & Mary Law School, got accepted after receiving a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Christopher Newport. And then I found out I was pregnant with Unique. And so, I was in love with the round the way guy. And so I didn't go to law school, but ultimately I wanted to be a lawyer, again, to represent the community and even those who couldn't afford it. So really a public defender type of individual. So I do have an undergraduate degree in criminal justice. I have a master's degree in criminal justice. I have a master's degree in public safety and leadership. And then I have a master's degree in human service counseling and executive leadership. And so my PhD is really, again, on leadership and counseling, family counseling. I love people and I love helping people, and people need folk that they can trust and that they can confide in, and that'll be real, will be like, me too. Because sometimes, you know, like, again, some of the widows I talk to, and they be like, I just want to, excuse me, y'all, I just want to do adulting. And I'd be like, me too. And they'd be like, oh, you do? Yeah. So people need like real people, or such and such get on my nerve, or my kids are on my last nerve. Mine too. You know, so I'm not the type of person who counsels or talk who'll be like, oh, really? And I know therapists was like, you know, it's not about you, it's about them. But I try to be as relatable as possible. So that's why, and again, I'm seeking a PhD, not because I'm like, oh, call me Dr. Fletcher. But again, because I'm Denise's daughter. And I wanted them to know that same woman who had 2 kids at 17, 4 at 23, and was raising 6 at 26 because of her niece and nephew, has a daughter and has a son and has children who are educated and we're professionals. So I'm really doing it because of that whole thing we talked about earlier, pride. Pride. And I got a deferment right now. I was like, look. I can't keep paying $2,000. I can't pay y'all. So anyway, if anybody know how I can get these loans,
you know what?
Please hit us up.
You are doing a public service.
I am.
Is there a way this into like consideration? Like really?
So is there a way you can do that with public? Okay, we're going to talk about that off camera. Because I know we only got what? What we got, Sheik? Probably 7, 8, 10 minutes. Oh my God, time is flying, Nick.
What is your passion aside from fitness?
Again, people. I just love people. I don't meet strangers everywhere. I can go places by myself except the movies. I will not go to movies by myself. I don't know why. I'm just not that girl. But I could go eat by myself because I meet people. I can go, like this time last year, we was on a cruise.
Right.
And I was everybody's friend. Black, white, old, male, blah, blah, blah. But listen, look, you remember that girl who came up to me? She was like, okay, B. You remember that? And then we was like, wait a minute. Boo-boo, you don't know me like that. You don't know me like that. She was so apologetic, but you don't be like, okay, I see you, B.
No. Not at all.
Not at all. Except she added an ITCH on it. Like,
there is a line.
There is a line. But I love people. My passion is people. My passion is development and leadership. And so, actually, my last day with Capital One, publicly announced, was Friday, October 4th. 12 years with Capital One. And, you know, you outgrow your time. I was in risk. My passion wasn't in that space anymore. My passion is development. My passion is leading individuals and creating leaders to sow into other people. So that's really it. I love teaching. I love training. So with Capital One, I did train like concise communication, emotional intelligence, resilience, personal resilience. So if I could, like, I always say I'm gonna be a professor one day when I'm 60 or 70. I could be at like Christopher Newport. I love teaching. I love empowering, again, through education. Because again, I'm Denise's daughter. Who didn't graduate from high school, who had 2 kids at 17 and 4 at 23 and 6 at 26. So that's always my representation, how much knowledge I can give to people. So I love it. So that's why I'm into fitness. Y'all, it's not just the fitness. Y'all not just with me because, we got the best workouts. It's what I pour into you to develop you and empower you outside of just fitness. Yeah.
Okay, so how does your ministry play part in what you do every day?
You know, people, especially when they hear curse words in our music when we work out. And again, when I told you Derek first heard me preach, he was like hell and brimstone. My kids better not listen to no rap. You know, they know cuss words in movies. Ain't no going to a sports bar talking about you eating dinner, let alone dancing. You know, because I was so super critical, like I ain't gonna be able to get in heaven. You know, blah blah blah. When I realized, Dr. Moss teaches a 7-mountain mandate, meaning in order for God to get out in the world, there are 7 mountains that goes with it: entertainment, education. You know, and all these mountains, we got to know who we are. And so my ministry is Breathe Easy Fitness Studio. And so that's the tolling. Like, how do you walk away from your ministry? So my ministry ain't just on a pulpit. You know, that just happens to be a subset. But my ministry, I've ministered to more people through fitness and through dance and got more impact than I've ever had coming across the pulpit, air quotes. So yeah, it balances. People judge. They be like, oh, she an elder, she a minister, and she out there. I mean, they're going to be surprised when they get to heaven. And, you know, I'm also there. Be like, hey, meet us in the fitness room. Meet us in the fitness room. So yeah.
That was one thing that I can say I always loved about you like when we first met and just be like, wow, she loves God. I mean, can preach you up and down. But when we get out on that dance floor,
baby, and know
it was amazing.
Like,
and it was just like, and it didn't change you. You didn't let that change you. You didn't let it quiet you down.
Right.
I mean, you just were you.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like, you know what? I can be me.
Yeah, I can love God. Like,
Right.
he loves us
Right.
where we are. Now, let me be clear. I do feel like that there are some standards, but not
Right.
just because you love
Right.
Christ. The fact that I don't drink is because I don't drink.
Right.
The fact that I don't smoke is because I don't smoke. People may do those things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to keep them out of heaven. It may
Right.
get them there sooner
Right.
if they're drinking and driving, or they're smoking and get lung disease. What I'm saying, those are not my preferences.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that now they're not going to make it to heaven. And I really thought that, again, that there had to be a perfected. But he didn't die for the perfected. He died for the sinner,
right.
for a reason.
Right, right.
And so that gives me, and so there's some standards. So again, even though I'm on the dance
Right.
floor, I ain't grinding up on dudes.
No,
I'm still
right.
thoughtful.
Right.
But that's not just because I love Jesus, because I got sons and I want to be like, is that my mama grinding up on my friend?
Right.
You know, so some of those things is not just because I love Christ or I preach his word. It's because I represent community. I represent
Right.
my kids. I represent my mom, you know, and so all those things are a part of it. And then the subset is, I know the good news, which is the gospel, and God has given me that. So again, it's put me in so many different places. We saw the interview, and even if we go over 5 a little bit, it's chatting up with Coach Q because I want to get this. I know, we almost there. But it helped me love my niece differently. I always loved her, but to know that there was a struggle with her sexuality, my goal was, I didn't want her there because I didn't want her going to hell. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, she gonna go to. But wait a minute, what about this liar? What about this cheater?
Right.
What about this fornicator?
Right.
What about this backbite? You know, and so what I realized, the only unforgivable sin is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Like, that may not be the perfected will that God has for her. However, that's my niece and God loves her the same way he loves me.
Absolutely.
And, you know, those who do whatever God loves them. And when God shows you, then you adjust where you need to. But we have to meet people where they are. That doesn't mean the excuse behavior
Right,
that is
right.
inappropriate or that you may disagree with. So there's things that I disagree with, but who am I? Who am I?
Right.
And it's some of us who are so super critical. Those are ones still, they're out here having the strokes. They're having the heart attacks. They're busting their brain open because they're so busy trying to perfect other people and not dealing with their own issues. So again, you know, I took your question out, but ministry is what I do every day. This is ministry. This is ministry, and I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions?
No,
She?
just statements. Connie made a statement earlier about Derek.
Yay.
He's a gentle giant, such an amazing man.
Thank you, Miss Connie.
And also, Connie made another statement. No one enjoys being single. They say they do just to mask up unhappiness. I'll be glad when my sugar daddy comes.
Okay, say that. Where was that at? Let me scroll down because we want to read that out loud, Miss Connie. Miss Connie, what you want? Oh, I see you, T. She said, I just told somebody today, I love love. Me too. I love love. I love love. Thank you for that. I don't see Miss Connie comment. I must have scroll down. You got it. You want to? Oh, I went somewhere else. You see it?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Oh,
Thank you,
see?
because that's where we should be.
That's where we should be.
That's where we should be, and I'm all on
over to
Facebook.
YouTube.
Go to. Thank you, Miss Connie. So Miss Connie said that they're masking their singleness because what? Say it loud again,
They
she.
say no one enjoys being single. They say they do just to mask that unhappiness. I'll be glad when my sugar daddy comes.
She said when her sugar daddy, call him sugar daddy.
Get it, Miss Connie.
Get it, Miss Connie. So the last thing I'll say, Nick, that I want
Okay.
people to walk away with, even from a dating perspective or whatever you're doing, even with friends, you shouldn't have to compete with other priorities. Like, I shouldn't have to, even with friendship, if you're my friend and I need you or we want to be together, there shouldn't be, I got to compete with this. I have to, because we prioritize those things that are important, right?
Right.
And that's what I want people to understand is you shouldn't have to force your way into a relationship. You shouldn't have to pull your own chair up at the table. If Sheik walks in the room and you and I are here and we know her and we see her coming in by herself, we should say, come over
on,
here. We
Sheik.
got a chair.
Yes.
Not that we look at her like,
Right.
And so too many times, and then the other thing I want to remind as we close out is that we have to be careful letting somebody else's disruption, unhappiness, and strife be ours. And you know, sometimes we don't like people because we don't like people, you know, or they don't like people. And there's sometimes, you know, you may not care for them. I tell them real cool, you know what I'm saying? You don't bang with my sisters, I don't bang with you. That's what I like. I don't bang, but I'm not going kiki. I'm not going to be rude to you, but I'm not going to kiki with you if you ain't banging with my people. Like that's not, but that doesn't mean I have to be rude with you. Absolutely that doesn't mean I dislike you. Or I'm not going to speak to you. Those are the things that I'm saying. It doesn't mean my sister's going to look up and be like, didn't I tell you that was a girl who just... Like, I ain't going to mince water like that. But what I am saying is we've boxed people in so much that they see folk like, do I speak to them? Do I say something? I see people all the time that go to other fitness studios or other things. And they're like, hi. I'm like, you don't have to sneak and wave. Like, you don't have to, like, oh, I be wanting to come over. I like your videos. I just don't hit like. Like, that, it's stuff like that. Or, you know, whatever the case may be, we can't do that. We can't do it because it's unfair. We never know what those individuals may need from one another. And so I'm very thoughtful on, you know, those things as well. But remember, you shouldn't have to force yourself into somebody's priority or somebody else's space. And what I am guilty of, Nick, is, and it has got me in trouble and it has gotten people upset with me, giving everybody the number one flag. Like Renee always said, she was like, I'm so glad you ain't no man. I was like, why? She said, because everybody is number one. Y'all remember I said, you my favorite, you my favorite, you my favorite, you my favorite. But you are the you favorite. Meaning I love everybody. And I have different pockets of friends. I have my Breathe Easy, Sharika in Hawaii, Trina. I have Karen and them. I have my church. And everybody understands when Quetta is there, those are my all. So people always say, you use the word friends loosely. I do. I have a lot of friends that may not. Now, you don't have a lot of friends. No, I have a lot of friends, sisters. I do. And I'm not going to apologize for that. I have people that I truly call my friend. And it doesn't mean that we may not have disagreements. It doesn't mean we always get along. It doesn't mean they don't get on my nerves or I don't get on their nerves. But it doesn't change the fact that they're my friends. We're not all alike. It's a relationship. It's a relationship. You know, we're so busy to cut off everything else. And that's a family. In your house, you fuss, you fight, you did all that. But that's still your family, you know, or whatever. And so my sister friends, I'm closer to some of y'all than I am some of my family. Because you all have learned to appreciate the individuality that you have and what you bring to the relationship. It's not a compete with Quetta. And because I work hard, it's not because I'm trying to be better. I work hard because I just told y'all I'm Denise's daughter. And so for all those people who've been out there trying to outwork me, or I'm gonna make sure y'all are running a race against somebody who ain't even paying attention to you on the track field. Y'all saw how Jordan dusts that boy? He's dusting him. He's low-key dusting. That's who I am. My race and target is Denise's daughter. That's it. So it's greatness. When I go to bed at night, I'm exhausted because I'm giving all of me. And when I leave this earth, I want to leave this earth when I say empty because I want to have given all and done everything God told me to do. I don't want all my gifts in a grave. So.
Well, thank you.
Yes, Nikki, you did it. If you're on YouTube, you heard the music. Again, hey, y'all, give it up to Nikki. I see a thumbs up. How that thumbs up got up there? You see it? So look, it was a thumb. It was like this. It came on the screen. When you do it, it comes up. So maybe, I don't know, when we hit high five, Nikki, it came up or something. I don't know now. So y'all, give it up for Nikki. Give some chatter for Nikki too. Give it some. Nikki did it. Didn't she do good? Like now, like she had that fan on high. But Nikki, thank you so much. Y'all, I know we went over a little bit, but it was a reverse interview with Coach Q. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the inboxes. We may not have gotten to them all, but thank you. And thank you for the people who asked me about my dating. Like I wasn't going to share it. I was gonna have to, like, it's a part of life. So I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. None of that stuff. And sometimes we gotta keep going until we get where we get. And so again, y'all have a great day. Y'all like, share, follow, and subscribe on YouTube. Let us get it up so we can get that money. Sheikah is on the music, so that means we gotta dance our way out, y'all. YouTube, y'all hear it. Thank y'all for joining us. Love y'all. Thank you. Hey, go ahead.